Hello, I'm Archie Luxury and welcome to the program, fuckers. And today I'd like to talk about some photographic tips. And one thing, being the pro photographer that I am, is I constantly get asked, how do you make fat people look thin, or at least thinner? And this is a bit of an acquired skill. And you know, in my photographic toolkit, I've got more tricks than a David Copperfield show. I can use optics, lenses and mirrors to make fat fuckers look reasonable. And this is a very, very tricky art. Believe you me, it's something I've honed in on, and it's taken years to perfect it. And I'd like to go into some detail on how to make fat fuckers look thin. And there's some tricks. And I'm going to reveal these tricks to you on the Archie Luxury channel. So please stay tuned. And let's jump in with some of the tips here. And I've got some photographic evidence to prove my point. So take note, and you can turn fat fuckers into really nice photographic objects. Okay, let's start this show. First tip is, when you're taking photographs, if you want to hide that double chin and you want to make the subject as thin as possible, take the photograph higher so the camera is looking down to the subject, and this here will hide the double chin. And I'd also recommend being on a slight angle, not being direct on. And what this will do is, it'll hide the double chin, it'll take the focus away from the tummy and more into the face. And particularly if you're just got a casual, relaxed stance, this is a great way to hide the excess bulge there. So that's a very important point. So the tip is, the camera should be higher than the subject, looking down on the subject. Okay, next tip. And for this tip here, I'm going to look at some awful photos. Have a look at this one here. And this is a photo of Archie, and it's just dreadful. The problem is, they are too close to the subject. And even though they are looking straight, they've got a profile, even though Archie's got his suit, which uses the pinstripes to hide some of the girth, the problem is they have taken, this photo here has been shot too much on an equal footing. It should have been slightly raised. Too close, Archie. They are too close to yourself, and they've taken an awful photo of you. You look like a fat pig in that suit. Whereas if we compare that to a photo with a much more professional photographer, look at this. It's not as close as the other shot. Archie's on an angle. He's wearing a pinstripe suit. Pinstripes are amazing. They hide the girth. It's an optical illusion. So a pinstripe shirt, and Archie's even got a striped tie, and he's got his hands in front of his tummy. So that's hiding the girth. So that's a great shot. The lighting's also good, and they're not as close as the other shot, which was awful. Also, Archie's face is on an angle. Now let's look at some more close-up work. And why do these work? Well, it's because the camera isn't so close. It's further away. They've just zoomed in a bit. And this shot works fantastically. So there we go. The second tip is, use pinstripes to your advantage, and don't get the camera so close. It's not a good look. You want the camera further away. And that's a very, very important function there. And the other thing is, Archie, if you've got a bad hair day, nothing's going to fucking make up for that. And again, this big problem with this photo here is that the camera is lower than the subject. So we can see the double chin. We can see just a fucking terrible look there. It's a terrible look. So there you go. You can see the difference in these photos here. Okay, this photo here works because we've got the suit on. So the suit integrates the tummy, the belly, the pants, the arms. And this suit here, because it's got a pinstripe in it, it's hiding some of the girth. We've also got our subject. We're quite far away from the subject, which helps. He's carrying an object to break up the girth around the stomach. So with this chap here, Archie's got a briefcase in his hand. So this hides the girth. And this makes a big difference. We've got to hide that battle of the bulge, Archie. And I think it's done quite a good job here. So the suit, it's the same colour top as the pants, of course, because it's a fucking matching suit. And he's got the object in his hand to hide the girth. Now, just to show you how it doesn't work if we took the jacket off, look at this one here. This is on an angle. And Archie looks like a pig because he's got the white shirt and you can see the size of his body. And that's not a good look, Archie. You would have been much better to stand next to Tom Cruise with your jacket on. That would have been an almost decent shot, but you fucked it up by having your jacket off. Another great tip is when you're taking a photo is cross your arms. That's right. It makes the visual impact of your big tummy a lot less. Cross the arms, fold the arms casually. It makes a big improvement. So I really recommend when you're taking shots, don't just put your hands at your side. If you're trying to hide some girth, fold your arms in front of you. It's a great tip, and particularly when you've got a Patek Philippe and your calendar on. It's a great way to go there. So that's some tips here. Now let's have a look at a couple of photos that really work. And you know why these fuckers work? I'll tell you why these work. Archie's wearing a suit, so matching pants and top. He's wearing a tie to break up the girth. He's also, the camera is quite far away from the subject. And even though the camera isn't it's not necessarily higher, it's further enough distance. Archie's got his hands, one hand up, one hand down like a teapot, and that gives us great coverage, and we don't realise what a pig he really is. So there you go. There's some shots there. So these shots, these really work. And there's a few that don't work, but you've just got to take a few shots and play with it. Play with it! Work it, baby! Work it! And that's a great tip there. Always work it. Here's a shot that doesn't work. His jacket is a bit too loose. It's not a great fit. We're seeing his girthy tummy, and it just doesn't work at all. So that's a shot where it hasn't worked. So there we go. I hope you've enjoyed some of these tips. So let's just recount on a couple points. Number one, preferably take a photo where the camera is higher than the subject. Number two, use stripes to hide some of the girth. Number three, use a suit. Suit is fantastic because it hides the up and lower sections into one piece. Also, a tie can break up the colour, and we've seen objects like a briefcase, any sort of object in your hand can be used to hide the girth. The next thing, point 4, is to sometimes cross your hands, have one hand up to break up the bigness of the chest. And the other thing is that to have the camera not too close. This is a big chap. We don't want the fucker too close to the camera. So stand back and zoom in. It makes him look smaller. I'm Archie Luxury. These have been some tips.
There you go, fuckers. There's some really cool tips in making fat fuckers look thin. And there's a little bit of poetic license in all this shit. And I hope you've picked up a few tips. And the next photographic shoot that you have with whales, it'll look cool. See you later, fuckers.
Oh, I completely forgot.
another great tip is for a fat fucker to hide behind a thin person. That's right. Hide the fucker behind a thin person. And not only does that make the fat fucker look thinner than the thin person, but it's a great optical illusion. And this is it's a tip that I've just I went to a Christmas party last night, and the photographer took these shots. I said, make me as thin as possible. The pro photographer. And this was a great tip. So if you're a fat pig, hide behind a thin person. And you'd never be, you just can't believe what you can hide. And hey, it's better than a fucking, it's better than a fucking musician's trick here. So that's my final tip for today. Keep experimenting, and see you later, fuckers.